Have you ever stopped to think about the invisible forces that are basically at war with your home? I'm not talking about ghosts, but something way more relentless: geography. Today, we're going to dive into this really fascinating case study of a coastal city, Revere, Massachusetts, to understand how its very location creates a hidden struggle right inside the walls of every house.
Okay, let's just jump right in with a question. What if your city's history and its actual location were actively, physically trying to flood your basement or just destroy your pipes? For people in a lot of coastal towns, this isn't some dramatic thought experiment. It's the reality they have to deal with every single day. So, let's set the scene here. Our story is going to take place in Revere, a city that is just the perfect example of this constant battle between our man-made infrastructure and the powerful forces of nature. Revere's spot right on the Massachusetts coast. You combine that with its brutal winters, and this mix of old historic homes and modern ones, well, you've basically created a perfect storm for plumbing problems. It's a place where the environment itself is putting constant, really unique pressure on a home's most essential systems. So, who are the main villains in this story? We can pretty much break them down into four main antagonists. You've got the corrosive salt air coming off the Atlantic, the really damaging freeze-thaw cycles of a New England winter, the high water tables because of the coastal terrain, and then this historical enemy that's lurking inside the walls: aging, galvanized pipes. So first up is the salt air. And look, this isn't just about that nice smell you get at the beach. That salt is a chemical agent, and it is constantly coating every single surface. For homes anywhere near the water, this means rust and corrosion happen way faster on any exposed metal, from your pipes to your outdoor faucets. Next up, the freeze-thaw cycle. The physics here are actually pretty simple, but they are so powerful. When water freezes inside a pipe, it expands with enough force to literally split metal wide open. And the real danger? You won't even know it happened until that ice thaws, and suddenly, water is just spraying everywhere.
Then you've got the high water table. Because Revere is low-lying and right on the coast, the natural groundwater level is super close to the surface. What that means is there's this constant hydrostatic pressure just pushing against basement walls and floors. And when you get a heavy rain, it can totally overwhelm city sewer systems and sump pumps, leading to some very unpleasant backups.
And finally, our historical bad guy: galvanized pipes. So many of Revere's homes were built before 1950, back when these steel pipes were just the standard. The problem is, they corrode from the inside out. So over decades, rust just builds up and up, choking off the water flow and weakening the pipe until it is just ready to fail. It's literally a ticking time bomb hidden in the walls. All right, so we've met our four antagonists. Now let's look at what happens when they actually decide to strike. This is where all those abstract problems become very, very real and super frustrating for homeowners. The first telltale sign is often in the water itself. If you turn on your faucet and see discolored or kind of rusty water, that's not coming from the city's supply. That's actually rust flaking off from the inside of those old galvanized pipes we were just talking about. And then there's this dreaded sight: a water stain spreading across a ceiling or a wall. This is pointing to a hidden leak, probably the result of corrosion finally eating all the way through a pipe or a joint failing under pressure. It's a huge sign that a small problem has been getting worse for a while. This one is so common and just maddening. If your shower feels more like a light drizzle than a real shower, it's almost certainly because of that rust buildup inside those old pipes. They get so clogged up over the years that they are literally restricting how much water can even get to your fixtures.
And here's maybe the most stressful one of all: a sewer line backup. This is where that high water table really makes its presence known. Heavy rains can overwhelm the whole municipal system, or tree roots can sneak into old clay sewer lines, and the result is sewage backing up right into your basement. Nobody wants that.
And this, right here, shows that hidden connection perfectly. On the left, you've got the underlying causes we've been talking about, these big picture things like corroded pipes and high water tables. And on the right, you get the direct effects: that frustrating low pressure, the catastrophic pipe bursts, and the awful basement floods. It's a straight line from cause to effect. Okay, so the situation might sound a little bleak, but there is a clear, systematic way to fight back against these unseen forces. Let's shift gears and talk about the solution and see how the pros can turn all this chaos back into order.
The response isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. It really falls into three main categories. First, you have emergency repairs, for when something has already gone wrong and you need it fixed now. Then you have installations, for adding new things like a sump pump. But the really crucial category is system upgrades. That's the proactive work, like replacing those old pipes before they have a chance to burst.
And the process itself is designed to be really reassuring and methodical. It all starts with a thorough assessment to find the real root of the problem. Then comes the professional repair or installation work. And it always ends with testing and cleanup to make sure the problem is actually solved and your home is left in great shape.
Now, while we've been focusing on Revere, these forces, geography, climate, and history, they're at play absolutely everywhere. So let's take these lessons and bring them back home, to your own environment.
Just take a second and ask yourself this. Do you actually know the invisible threats your own home is facing? Are you in a coastal area? An old house? A part of the country with hard freezes? Just understanding your specific environment is the very first step toward protecting your home.
And really, it all boils down to this one crucial idea. Preventative work costs less than emergency repairs and protects your property from water damage. It's that simple. It's all about shifting your mindset from being reactive to being proactive. Once you understand the unique story of your home's location, you can stop just fighting fires, and instead you can prevent them from ever even started.